She moved to the district office in 2002 as a census clerk, and in 2012 became the MARS coordinator responsible for all of our state reporting of student enrollment and attendance data. Rita has always been a positive influencer in our district and has been a true joy to work with. She has always been willing to take on new challenges and others' work. Rita is joined by her husband Gene in retirement and plans on spending a lot of time with her children and grandchildren. We are very glad to have had the opportunity to work with her and wish her all the best in her retirement. Rita, thank you for your dedicated service to Forest Lake Area Schools. Roy Holmes was a bus driver for our district students for 25 years. For all of those years, she drove for Lino Lakes Elementary and the secondary routes. Because Lori lived in Lino Lakes, she parked her bus at home, beginning and ending her day there for all those years. Her children attended our schools and were able to ride the bus with her through graduation, which she very much valued. Lori had an excellent safety record and was a very positive, dependable, and professional driver. Now that she is retired, she is working on many projects around the home that she could not get to while working, and she said she is having a great time. Lori, you will be missed. We appreciate all your outstanding service to Forest Lake Area Schools, and we wish you the best in your retirement. Principal Julie Kryman. We would all be fortunate to retire at the top of our professional career. This is the case for Scandia Elementary Principal Julie Kryman. After a highly successful teaching and administrative career, Julie will be retiring at the end of the school year. Her career in Forest Lake began as a 5th grade teacher before she became one of the founding teachers of the Forest Lake Area Schools Montessori Elementary School, where she taught as a grades 1 through 3 teacher. In 2003, Julie served as a dean of students at the high school before she began her 15-year principal career at Scandia Elementary. Julie is a gifted teacher and leader and a trusted colleague to all who have had the opportunity to work with her. I consider Julie a friend and a teacher and someone I admire for her professionalism, charisma, and passion for her students and families. I wish Julie the absolute best in her retirement. Julie, thank you for your great service and congratulations. After 34 years of dedicated service to Forest Lake Area Schools, it is time for Kathy Jurison to move on to new adventures. She will do the same. She will do the same. She will do this in the same way that she brought excitement into the classroom and building environment every day for her students. Her gift was valuing what the most prized possession parents send to us each day, their children. She was able to personally connect to each student and every child every day. Simply put, Principal Mr. Fox would say she loved to come to work every day. Her daily diligence in making students believe in themselves as confident and capable learners will never be replaced. Thank you for all of that, all that you have done for the staff, the parents, the kids, and community at Columbus and throughout Forest Lake Area Schools. Kathy, thank you for all your service and congratulations on your much-deserved retirement. Kathy Kiefer was an amazing staff, a team player willing to step in and help anyone that needed help. She enjoyed working with children very much. She bought a cabin up north for summers and bought a house in Arizona for the winters. Kathy spent 3 years working with children in the school-age care program. Kathy always had a smile for every child and presented all activities with great enthusiasm. Kathy always put her creativity to use in the program. She was able to retire along with her husband and will now be enjoying the next years in retirement, doing all the things that she had waited to do. Congratulations, Kathy, on your retirement, and thank you for your service to the district. Mike Kopitz began his career in buildings and grounds in the 1980s with the University of Minnesota. At the U of M, Mike was involved with space programming and management until 1992, when he transitioned to Monds View Public Schools. Mike was our buildings and grounds supervisor from 2006 to 2015. His previous work at Monds View set him up well to ultimately get our bond passed in 2015, and he was immediately identified to lead our bond construction project as the supervisor until he retired in December of 2019. Mike will always be remembered fondly for keeping the district's and the students' interests in the forefront as our projects for reshaping the future as it progressed through the construction process. Mike, thank you for your great leadership and your incredible work. Congratulations on your retirement. For 28 years, Janelle has supported student learning in Forest Lake area schools. She has worked with students with a variety of different learning needs and has given them a supportive and high-quality learning environment day in and day out. She has long been one of the most liked and highly revered staff members in our buildings due to her constant support of those around her. Started her career in North Branch before making the change to Forest Lake, where she taught at Forest View and the high school, and then on to Century, and now at the middle school. Along the way, she coached several sports as well. It will be very hard to fill the void left behind as she so deservedly transitions into retirement. We have nothing but deep gratitude to show Janelle for all that she has done for the students of our communities. Janelle, thank you for your great service to Forest Lake area schools, and congratulations on your retirement. Shelley Madison was a very dedicated paraprofessional in the Forest Lake area school district. Her colleagues describe her as being hardworking and proactive. She was dedicated to finding new strategies to support the students so they could be as independent as possible. She was a go-getter. She held students accountable. Shelley has a wonderful sense of humor and always looks for the good in people. There is no doubt Shelley will love retirement because she loves seeing friends and family, especially her children and grandchildren. Shelley, congratulations on your retirement, and thank you for your dedicated service to Forest Lake area schools. Rebecca Magnuson earned her BA degree in education from Gustavus College in 1980 and landed her first teaching position in Forest Lake as a kindergarten teacher, splitting her time between Lionel Lakes Elementary and Scandia Elementary. Becky earned her master's degree in curriculum and instruction from St. Thomas. Her strong passion for the necessity of play and developmentally appropriate instruction led to her high involvement in the Minnesota Kindergarten Association, where she served as president for 6 years, regional representative, public relations, and currently the website liaison. Service on district committees are too numerous to note. A parting thought that has always guided her comes from another retired teacher, Plato. In every task, the most important thing is the beginning, and especially when you have to deal with anything young and tender. Becky, thank you for your incredible dedicated service to Forest Lake area schools, and congratulations on your retirement. Mary Malrick has taught 18 years with Forest Lake area schools, beginning at Wyoming Elementary and finishing her career at Linwood Elementary. Throughout those years, she has taught 3rd grade, 4th grade, and fifth grades, including 1 year with the Spanish immersion program at Forest Lake Elementary. Her passion and purpose has always been about developing young minds and creating a classroom community where everyone plops on the floor and connects. She's proud to stand with our district where everyone works together to set into motion responsive, diligent teaching practices. Congratulations on your retirement, Mary, and thank you for your service to Forest Lake area schools. Mary Ann Marrier drove a bus for our school district students for 17 years. She drove for many of our district schools and said she enjoyed everyone. She loved the students she transported and misses them dearly, and now spends much of her time on her hobbies, mostly making concrete planters and doing portraits of people and dogs. We appreciate all the years you provided the safe and exceptional transportation services for our students. We wish you the very best in retirement and thank you for your service to Forest Lake area schools. Diane McMillan is known as Selma by her colleagues and friends at work, and she was a staple of student support at Century Junior High School and then Forest Lake area middle school. She supported both teachers and students day in and day out, helping them be successful. Selma built quality relationships with those with whom she worked and has been missed at the middle school since her retirement in October. We wish her nothing but the best. Diane, congratulations on your retirement. For nearly 17 years, Peggy Miller drove our students safely to and from school. Peggy's safety record was outstanding, and she maintained professional and positive relationships with her students and parents. She and her husband recently bought an RV and planned many travels in her retirement. She wants to thank all the people at the bus garage for their support over the years and wants people to know she never called in sick one time in her entire Forest Lake career. We want to sincerely thank you for your years of exceptional service to our students and community. Congratulations on your retirement. Barbara Mollett worked for school-age care since the fall of 2012. She loved watching the children grow over the years and felt that it was an honor and privilege to be part of so many lives. Barb is gentle and kind with children and at the same time held them to high standards. She is looking forward to dedicating more time to her own family in retirement. Congratulations, Barb, on your retirement, and thank you for your years of service to Forest Lake area schools. Tom Nichols joined the Linwood team on October 10th, 1994. Tom has maintained a secure, healthy, and safe environment for all that have walked through the doors at Linwood. Tom has been through 2 major construction upgrades starting in 1999 and the last major building project in 2018 to 2020. Tom has attended 26 graduations, both at Linwood and the Forest Lake area high school. He has watched countless students return to the community as adults and then welcome their own kids to Linwood to start the journey anew. Tom, congratulations on your much-deserved retirement, and thank you for your incredible commitment and dedication to Forest Lake area schools. Deanna Pesic started her teaching career in 1982 at Linwood Elementary and quickly became a well-respected voice among the Linwood staff. Over the years, Deanna has taught almost every grade from kindergarten through 4th grade and has served in roles from cluster teacher to Title I. It is fitting that Deanna culminated her career in Forest Lake as a QComp peer coach, where she was able to leverage her wealth of experience in supporting our elementary educators district-wide. Deanna, thank you for your great service and your energy and passion to teaching. Congratulations on your retirement. Pamela Strantz was a noon duty aide and Title I interventionist for many years at Linwood Elementary. During her 14 years of work in the district, her kindness and compassion were readily apparent in every interaction with students, staff, and families. Pam, thank you for your great service and congratulations on your retirement.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Massey.
Yeah, Mr. President, that's the end of our retirement list for this year, and I have to say it is really an honor to work with an incredible group of people, and it's humbling to see the incredible talent that they bring to our schools every day. And to be honest, it's not easy replacing talent like this. So we have a tall order ahead of us, replacing these folks, and I wish them all the best.
I only wish we could have had a recognition in person. It's unfortunate at these times, but yeah, thank them all for their service to the district.
Steve, thanks for the great report. 495 years of service total. So that is the retention that we strive for. So we must be doing something right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jill. I was hoping you would be adding up those numbers.
I figured you would. Those are the hardest ones I've seen in 8 years.
That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
All right. Any other comments? All right. With that, I think we can move back to student achievement. Dr. Massey?
Thank you, Mr. President. I think it's my fault. I might not have given our activities director, Mike Hennon, the movement from 7 o'clock to 6 o'clock. So, Mike, whatever you had to do to quickly adjust your schedule, we appreciate it. But let us enjoy the incredible accomplishments of our senior activity participants and all of our winter participants. So take it away, Mike.
All right. Thanks so much. Yeah, I didn't know I thought it was 7. So I was just sitting in my office. So this works out better for me. So I appreciate you giving me a chance to come and highlight our students and our coaches. Definitely makes myself look good, but makes our community and our school and everybody around us. We got amazing students, amazing coaches that make everybody look really, really good in our community. So it's awesome. That I do have a little slideshow, and I did go back. There's about 3 in the fall that we didn't recognize, so I included them too in this presentation too. So I've never present now, so I'm hoping it's going to work. We'll see what happens here. Never done this before, so I might be off here. Did you guys see it when I switched over?
We don't see
You got
it.
to hit the start presenting button, Mike,
Start present.
and then click on the presentation you want to present.
Is this showing up?
No, it's not showing up yet, Mike.
Nothing yet? Okay. Dang it. All right. So all I'm getting is your guys' screen here. How do I switch my screen?
There you go, Mike.
So that's letting me in. Now if I switch screens, will it come?
Good, now we got it. Now go to
Okay.
present mode and you're good.
All right. Thank you guys for your patience. That's working?
You're good.
All right, awesome. All right, so first thing we got here, we started a fish team, kind of a club last year, and they had some tremendous success for the first time. Last fall, they had their state tournament here, but they were Bass National Conference or Bass Nation Conference champs, North Metro Muskie section champs, and we had 3 teams qualify for state in our inaugural season. Jake Mastel, actually, who just graduated last year, assumed the head coach now. He was kind of helping the head coach last year, and once he graduated, he came into fruition for that. So I got a chance to actually go to 3 of their different meets. Was up in Alexandria for their state meet, which was awesome. So they did a fantastic job. Another opportunity, a unique opportunity for our kids. Boys cross country was Section 7 AA champions. They placed 11th place at the state meet last fall. And Max Carlson was all-state. He finished in 9th. Head coach for them is Andy Richardson, and his assistant coach was Jake Roberts, both teachers in the high school here. Girls cross country, also Section 7 AA champions. They also placed 11th place at the state meet. Their head coach was John Fick, assisted by Brittany Rodewald. Girls swim and dive had 3 individuals make the state tournament. Ellie Thiele, a senior, qualified in 100 freestyle. McKinley Levitt, senior, qualified in diving. And then Madison Fagerlin, a junior, also qualified in diving. So divers here have had and once we get into the boys, they've had a great job. Deb Welch does a great job with those. Their head coach is Kim Jones, assisted by Amanda Brett. And then diving coach for them is Deb Welch. Our AAA award winners for the year goes to a senior arts academic and athletics. 3.0 or higher is the qualification. Both of these have quite a bit higher than a 3.0, but the boy representative for our school is Beck Pope. He's in choir, cross country, Nordic skiing, and track. And our girl representative this year was Lily Wallachek. She was in orchestra, tennis, hockey, and lacrosse. Great applicants for that. We had a great list of students to pick from, and these 2 kind of came to the top of our list. FLDT, our dance team. They were SEC Suburban East Conference kick champions and jazz camp champions this year. So they won both conference championships in both of those. Their head coach, Rachel Rue. Assistant coaches, Katie Gunderson and Michaela Rue. Debate in Lincoln Douglas. We went 1-2 at sections. Stephen Winnick was first and Jack Ludicky was second. I got a chance. I've never been to the debate meet. I went down and watched Jack and Stephen compete at the state meet. It was really interesting. And Stephen ended up finishing second place. So did very, very well. Jack just got out just before they got to the final 8. He didn't quite make it to the final 8. Head coach for them is Kendrick Walton, and assistant coach is Rachel De Soprino, who was a student at the University of Minnesota. Boys swim and dive were Section 7 AA True Team champions. Went down to the True Team state meet. The True Team event is everybody counts. So it goes to every swimmer you bring, every diver you bring. It goes down to your 4th place diver. So it's kind of a true team event there. Depth is very, very important. And Dom Mancini was our head coach. First year head coach for him, making it to the state True Team meet was fantastic. His assistant coaches are Deb Welch and Kelly Olson. So they did a good job. Individually, for the state meet, the medley relay made the state. Will Chapman was a backstroker. Max True was breast. Ron Henderson did our fly, and Brady Jarose did our freestyle at the end. Again, we had 2 divers qualify. Andrew Jensen was section champion, and Nick Nemi, who was 4th in sections. And then Max True, for the second year in a row, made it down in the in the breaststroke. I think he finished 9th this past year. So did a fantastic job. They did have an injury to one of their top swimmers that hurt them a little bit for a few more opportunities to go down. DECA, throwing them in there. They had 48 students qualified for DECA State. I actually got a couple pictures here. I got to go to a DECA meet over in Spring Lake Park one Sunday. So very cool. We have a ton of students. I think we got 57 or 58 students that were there. Really fun to watch them present and do different things. So we got 2 co-advisors there, Ashley Wilkie and Adrian Wright. So very good job. Very fantastic. Alpine ski, we had 2 individuals qualified for state. Morgan Thomas was their 3rd time qualifying for state. And Zach Trotto, his 2nd time qualifying for state. He was our section runner-up there. And their head coach is Kelsey Shimshak, English teacher here at the high school. Boys Nordic skiing won basically every race they went to where they all competed. So they were Suburban East champions, Section 4 champions, and the state champions, our own lone state championship for our team this past year. We had 3 finish in the top 24 for all state. Noah Erickson was 6. He's a sophomore. Ethan Erickson is a senior. And then Nick Parent was also a senior. So a good way for those seniors to come out. It was Ryan Wright's first year as our head coach, and Caitlin Olson was our assistant coach. Ryan, if you haven't met him, and Caitlin have so much energy and so much positivity. They're a joy to watch. With the boys here, they actually were, Nick Parent was crying on my shoulder because he thought he blew it for his team, didn't think they won. They really thought they were second going into awards. So it was a pretty jubilant celebration when they were all pretty shocked that they won the state championship. When they announced it, it actually came down to a tiebreaker. So it came down to total time. They had the 4 top skiers together, and we won by like 6 seconds or something like that. It was really, really close. So to see those kids go from pretty demoted and they're very, very sad to the championship, it's a range of emotions and basically what high school sports is all about. Girls Nordic, no slouch either. They were Suburban East Conference champs. They were Section 4 champs, and they were second at state. So did a fantastic job. They had 2 all-state performers. Jordan Parent, freshman, was 3rd, and Amelia Hauer, who's an 11th grader, who finished in 8th. And they got their whole squad coming back next year, so we're looking for great things for them coming into the next year. Hopefully break into that championship for us. Gymnastics, I think we finished 3rd in sections, and we have 2 individual qualifiers. Keely Cisco made it in the floor, bars, and beam, and Clara Gorman, floor, vault, and beam. And both of those young ladies are back next year for another season with us also. Their head coach is Lindsay Perron. She's a teacher down at Forest Lake Elementary. And her assistants are Carol Seuss, Casey Kohler, Chris Kodis, and Krista Armistead. Wrestling, back-to-back section champions. They won again this year. Went down the state tournament, finished in 6th place. 7 AA coaches of the year. Joe Kuncher is going through some personal stuff this past season, so we had a lot of help, and some of these guys helped him out quite a bit. So he nominated 2 of his assistants that picked up a lot of the slack for what was going on in our wrestling program while he was dealing with his wife. So Ben Dames and Andy Hacklemuir were named Section 7 AA coaches of the year. And then other assistant coaches there, Tim Cardinal, Jake Roberts, I got Rogers there, but Jake Roberts and Gordy Morgan. Individually for wrestling, Derek Cardinal is a junior, won his 3rd state championship. God, what a nice kid. He wins. There's not much celebration with him. He actually wins, shakes hands, very respectful, walks over the coach, and he jogs off like he's done it before. And obviously the 3rd time he's done it before. I was sitting next to his mom during the championship match, and then soon after he was coming up in the stands giving his mom a big hug. So it's pretty cool to be sitting there and seeing that moment too. Again, what high school sports is all about, the family, the community there watching, they're cheering. We did have 7 individuals make it down there. 4 of them here that I got pictured made it to the all-state, made it to the medal round. So Tyler Rowley is a junior. He finished 4th. Jeremiah Van Acker finished 5th. He was a senior. Daniel Van Acker, who's a sophomore, finished 6th, and Jake Aho is a freshman, finished 6th. So a lot of those guys coming back for next year. We're looking hopefully for a 3-peat there coming for them. And spring sports, I was cut short a little bit on, so I didn't get a chance. Spring sports to do much other than be the light and turn on the stadium lights and different things like that. Coming into our season, softball was ranked 4th in the state. Girls lacrosse was ranked 10th. Boys track and field had a ton of people coming back. Would have had a great chance of getting this section. So hearts go out to those seniors and those coaches who put a ton of time into those seasons leading up to them and didn't get the opportunity to compete. But I tell you what, our students are way more resilient, and the way they react to this stuff, you wouldn't even know they were, obviously disappointed, but they they just roll with the punches, and every time you run into them, they're happy, they're smiling, they're having a good time. They're definitely making the best of probably not the best situation. So I would just like to, give my appreciation to you for letting me come on here and present our athletes and our activities that have done very, very well. And even the ones that didn't get to highlight today, we had a lot of successes, and success always isn't highlighted with, championships and different things like that. We got a ton of students that are participating in a ton of different things. We have a whole bunch of activities that they can be involved in. There's something for everyone. If you want to be involved in something, we can get you involved in something, which is really, really cool. That you guys allow us to have so many different things that we can tap into and everybody's interest can get through. So, other than that, I just appreciate, I love my job. I love what I do. I appreciate you letting me be the activities director here. The best part of my job is going to those events and seeing those kids and those experiences. And a lot of people say, why do you go to so much? Why do you? I go, that is the best part of the job. I feel I have the best job in the district. Most of the stuff I get to deal with is positive stuff with the students and seeing them compete and doing what they love to do. The extension of that classroom after school. So excited that we get into the weight room next week and do some stuff. I can see students again. I really miss them. I have a hard time social distancing when I run into them and see them and stepping away and trying to talk to them. So we got graduation on Friday night. We're going to see them in their cars, and then we get to see them in pretty small groups starting next week, which is pretty exciting for everybody, including myself. So turn over. You got any questions? Anything you guys got?
Hey, Mike, this is Julie. I have a question regarding how did it work for them for college, for sports? I mean, how did they just look at the junior year sports for them, for the spring sports, to get scholarships and different opportunities for college?
Yeah, so most of the time for spring, they've already made the decision from the last spring or maybe from that summer before. There are a few people that were holding off and thought, especially some of our track athletes, if they get some good times or get some good distances, if their throws or jumps and different stuff, so that sure helps. But, most of them have already committed by then. There's not too many that are that late. There are a few that are holding off, though. We had a track that couldn't decide. He came to our signing day, and he brought I had to print him off two things, Houston and Eastern Illinois State, because he couldn't decide. He wanted to go to Houston, but they were looking for more, times and different stuff, which he didn't get to do. They actually ended up offering him, so it ended up working out. We did have 45 kids signed to play college athletics this past year, which I believe last year, we had 37.
That's great.
So, so that was amazing.
Seems like a large number.
It was huge. I couldn't believe it when I sent the email to the coaches to see who was going where. I knew we had a lot, and we had like 6 or 7 D1 too. I think we had 5 D1 girls hockey players. Yeah, that helped raise that up. So it was awesome. And it doesn't matter what level you go play college. It's hard to play any level. It's hard. Everybody's the best kid that came out of their school. So if you can get somewhere and participate, and hopefully they'll make their college experience better and make, and it does. I know it does. It gets some of these kids through school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Julie.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions for Mike?
I have a question for Mike, and thank you for that great report. It's great to see those coaches stepping up and helping out Joe Kuncher, and they had success at state with wrestling, and I'm always happy to see those DECA numbers are still strong at Forest Lake High School. But I do have a quick question about the successes in the dive team. That's great to see. Where do we do our diving, since we didn't do the diving well in our own district?
Yeah, so we practice. The kids sign a waiver. I think we're like 2 inches where it comes up. So the kids sign a waiver to practice at our pool. So they practice at our pool. We've had a couple of schools actually sign waivers. We've had two times since I've been here where schools have dove at our pool also. Some of them don't, because if they don't dive at our school, then we got to go to their school. So it's a difference between, okay, I can either be at home and dive at home, or drive up to Forest Lake. And in some of our schools, like East Ridge, Woodbury, feel like Forest Lake is in Lake of the Woods to them, it seems like. And it's not that far, 35 minutes. But
So we're still doing the waivers and using our pool space.
Yeah, they
Okay.
practice there. Deb Welch, who coaches our divers, does a fantastic job.
Yeah.
You know, if you even look back at history before I got here, there was always good divers, and both my daughter and son both swam, so I was at a ton of swim meets, and it's like, oh my gosh, Forest Lake just keep kicking out divers, and she's been the one constant there with the divers. So she's also a bus driver in our district too. So
That's great. One quick question about the fishing team. Is
Yeah.
this the first year for that, or was it the second year? And do they need a boat to
So this
participate?
was the first. So last
That
spring,
look like?
into the summer and fall was the first year, and we don't support them. We just sponsor them, so they're not getting any. There's no money that I'm giving them or anything like that. I just help them organize it, get the kids together. I collect their forms for them, and then give them to their booster club. And obviously, I go to some of their events and stuff because they're still our students. Even though I'm not necessarily in charge of it or anything, but so it just started last spring into the summer, and it finished up in the fall. They haven't started yet. They organized everything. I did make them order maroon shirts instead of those. I don't know if you noticed they had royal blue shirts. So they did order new jerseys that are maroon and gold, which look really cool. And they're working on being able to do that. So they have to have an adult drive the boat. So a lot of them was their dads drove the boats. And they actually had somebody who was 18 or older. So like Jake, who was actually a really, really good fisherman and could have competed still last year, a lot of time he drove a boat for a couple freshmen. So he didn't even compete. He just said, I'll drive the boat because they didn't have enough boat drivers some nights. Mostly it's dads though. The parents have stepped up and they got a booster club now and they're rolling pretty good actually.
Wow. Well, thank you for supporting that. I think that's
It's really
terrific.
cool.
That's very popular in our area. Thank
Yeah,
you.
we had 60 some kids in it. So yeah, very popular.
Thank
All right.
you.
Very nice. Any other comments or questions for Mike? Hearing nothing, we will move on to reports. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate you getting on and adjusting your schedule. Reports. I know there's been no workshops or conferences, so we will move to 9:16. Member Olson.
Sorry about that. Yep, we had a meeting last night where we welcomed Connie Ramberg. We said goodbye to Linda Zaradka. She has worked in the district for 50 years. And we also said goodbye to Jean Jordan. She had been there 8 years. We approved the budget. We talked about, in light of what is happening in the world, that the equity work of 916 must continue. We talked a little bit about technology, and they deployed something called Go Guardian, which is helping with remote learning, where the teacher can actually see what the student is viewing or looking up. So it's a internet monitoring and filtering system. So there's keywords that flags that student, and then appropriate people are notified if some of those filtering words come up. So I thought that was very interesting. And if we could look into something like that down the road, it sounds very cool. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Member Olson. I was hoping that maybe 916 would refuse to take Connie Ramberg on and send her back to us, but I guess that's not the case.
They did apologize for stealing her.
I was going to ask, did they say they're sorry?
Yeah, they did.
We will miss her. Communications Committee, also Member Olson?
My communications? Oh, yeah, that's me. Sorry. So Renee gave us an update. We're doing a postcard project, sending postcards to all the students in Forest Lake that are not enrolled in our district. And these are going to elementary, middle school, and high school students. The high school postcard will mention Ranger Online. And kind of the theme of the postcards is keep learning, keep connecting, and keep growing, just to highlight how we've really risen to the challenge of social distancing and or social, you know what I mean, remote learning. So those are going to go out. Corey gave an update about opening facilities to a degree, fields, gyms, sports center, and skill-based practice sessions will become up and running. And as we saw today, the pool is going to start to open as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, very nice. Curriculum, Instruction, and Equity Committee, Member Tyson? You're on mute, Gail.
Oh, sorry about that, guys. All right. We had an Indian education report, and it was a great report. We got to meet Rebecca Wolf and Chris Johnson. They talked about their program and their involvement with the Indian Ed, and they had just a lot of enthusiasm. Chris was fun. She talked a lot at the end about just her passion for working with this group and what she plans to do in the future. Mr. Ward gave us some assessment data drawn together by our assessment coordinator, Lloyd Komatsu, from FastBridge. And it showed that in some areas, the achievement is flat. So that gives them some goals to work on moving forward. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Member Tyson. Policy Committee, Member Luthner. Did we lose Member Luthner?
Nope, I'm still here. We're actually driving back. So policy meeting met. We went through a couple of the policies that I think are further down on the agenda. I actually plan on having my notes with me, but I'm on a different phone, so it's not working out as well as I would have expected. But we are still meeting, and it's important to keep the policy roll going.
Thank you, Member Luthner. Finance Committee, Member Corcoran.
Okay, our meeting, we discussed the fiscal year 20 budget status to kind of see where we were compared to last year. We also discussed the fiscal year 21 budget status, which we'll be approving on tonight's agenda. We also had a really in-depth, great presentation from Balance Point Strategy. We had Chris Hone and Tom Sturgeon. It was an annual review of the district's health plan, kind of going over many facets of the plan, seeing it was kind of more an in-depth explanation, and also a lot of questions from current participants to see how they like our plans and kind of a health status of our plans. And that concludes our report.
Thank you, Member Corcoran. Staff Welfare, Member Rayfield.
Yes, thank you, Chair. So we talked about the summer school and how it would be impacted by the coronavirus precautions we're taking, and different strategies for how we would maintain social distancing. We talked about 2021 enrollment, and we also talked about some discussion about how we can, maybe as we move forward, make one or more of our elementaries kind of magnets for attracting students. And so we had some discussion about that.
Thank you, Member Rayfield. Equity in our schools, also Member Rayfield.
Right. I don't have a traditional equity. Usually there's a number of classes people are taking or reports on the different affinity groups. But, everything's been kind of shaken up by the death of George Floyd. And, a lot of people are concerned that schools are doing everything they can to make sure that any racism that's a part of that school district or inequities are being taken care of. And a lot of people have had questions about that. So I just kind of want to talk a little bit about some of the stuff over the last 4 or 5 years, and especially the last 2 years, that we've put into place to kind of preemptively make sure that everybody has a sense that they belong in Forest Lake, that they're a ranger, and that their education is equal to others. So one thing we've done is we've put together a number of affinity groups that students of color and LGBTQ plus students can join to foster a sense of belonging and a safe space for discussion of issues, and like the Black Student Union. Because racism is a community problem, last year the school district, the city of Forest Lake, and the YMCA partnered on what we called Everybody Belongs. We hosted a series of informational workshops around equity, inclusion, including unconscious bias, cultural lens, dimensions of diversity, and the public was very much encouraged to come to these meetings. We've worked extensively with the group Equity Alliance Minnesota, of which I'm a board member, whose purpose is to help schools understand and address issues of equity. As part of that effort, we have appointed equity leaders throughout our district and have had many of our staff go through EA trainings. We also have designated student representatives for our schools. We have dedicated monthly school board report that relates to the issues of equity. That's this. Because we felt that as a board, we wanted to hear these issues and make sure it's in the forefront of our thinking. And last year, we built our new strategic plan. Equity and inclusion were primary in our core belief statements. And so I just kind of wanted to go over this. We all know these things that we've been working on, but I thought it would be a good time to have a reminder of that. And with that said, it's also that we can never stop that work. We always have to push very hard to make sure that everyone's welcome in Forest Lake schools.
Thank you, Member Rayfield.
You're welcome.
Buildings and Grounds, Member Kettle.
At our last meeting, Larry, as usual, presented an update on the bond project. We talked about future capital projects that are coming up, and we looked, and then Bill, of course, gave his report on building and grounds items. The standout for me, because I think we all see a lot of this when Larry does his presentations, but the one thing I wanted to mention about the meeting was the athletic field project proposal. There's two things I want to cover. The athletic field project, as you know, the track and field itself is going to cost about almost $1.5 million. The athletic field is $1.320 million. The additional field improvements, which I think were really exciting, are $1.9 million, and that includes things like the home bleachers, the meeting space, the scoreboard, the sound system, etc., and the softball fields and practice space for $1.2 million. So the total project for the athletic fields is about $7.4 million, which of course is very exciting, and I think the community is really looking forward to seeing the new field. Along with that, we also talked about the project with the CLC and the step plan for the old Central Junior High, which is going to be torn down. If you have not seen the plan or don't remember it, I think you all do. But basically, the two sides of the school are going to be torn down, and the middle section is going to be kept. And so we reviewed that plan. We looked at the demolition that's going to happen, and then we also looked at a potential floor plan for the new school, which I thought was pretty exciting. So with that, my report is done. At this point, I'm going to continue with the city of Forest Lake because it looks like we're frozen someplace.
Yeah, I'm back. Perfect. Thank you.
It looked like Jeff was frozen for a minute. Anyway, for the city of Forest Lake, the only thing I have to add, because I live in the area, is obviously the construction going on 97 in Goodview. If you haven't been in this neighborhood, you'll find that the good news is 97 is staying open. They've moved it over into 2 lanes, kind of on the far north side of the road. But there is a lot of construction happening, and if there ever was, and I don't mean this really literally, but if there ever was any kind of blessing in the COVID-19, I think it's the fact that we don't have a whole lot of buses going to our schools right now because of all the construction that's happening on 97 in Goodview. With that, it ends my report.
Thank you, Member Ketto. And yes, at least that project is ahead of schedule as far as I know, and should be done by a month earlier, I believe, than it would have been. So some good news. With that, we will move to the superintendent's report. Dr. Massey.
Thank you, Chair Peterson. Before I get into different items that I'll provide by way of updates, I thought I would share some of the content of the letter that I sent to families at the end of last week. I shared that as a school community, serving close to 6,000 students and their families, I would like to express my sadness for the loss of life and the anger and pain felt by so many. We are all called at all times to treat our fellow human beings with dignity, kindness, and grace. This is profoundly true today. The Forest Lake Area School District is deeply committed to ensuring that all students and families belong in our community and are treated with dignity. We also know that issues of equity and race require ongoing self-reflection and a commitment to learn and understand. Indeed, this ongoing commitment is the only foundation upon which all members of our communities and our country can thrive. I am proud of our community's commitment to build upon principles of mutual respect, equity, and understanding. This last fall, the Forest Lake Area School Board, as Member Rayfield just shared, adopted a strategic plan that was developed by staff, students, parents, and community members. The strategic plan is rooted in a set of core beliefs, which include, and not the least of which include, and our educational equity is the foundation for everything we do. We believe that each individual has value for their diverse talents, backgrounds, and cultures. And among the beliefs, the best interests of each student guides all decisions. Earlier this school year, the Everyone Belongs Project provided a learning series on cultural bias, cultural lens, and dimensions of diversity, as was shared by Member Rayfield. The core planning team for the Everyone Belongs Project met right away last week to discuss the recent events and to mourn the loss of George Floyd. And we have planned opportunities for the district and our communities to learn and listen. Community conversations have been scheduled for June 17th at 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. and June 19th, 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. These sessions are entitled Everyone Belongs, a Conversation for Our Times. Additionally, 2 learning sessions on implicit bias will be held on June 23rd at 4 p.m. to 4:45 and June 24th at noon to 12:45 p.m. And we're going to provide a sign-up link, and I've got this in my weekend update on these dates. And I would ask that anyone in the community that wants to engage in this conversation and learn together of how we as a school community can support all students, address our issues in our schools related to race, inequality, and equity, that we come together and commit ourselves to continually learn and grow and move ourselves and our systems forward. Now more than ever, we are called to continually learn and grow and to make this district a stronger district than ever. Moving on to other topics. Tomorrow night we celebrate our 2020 graduates whose senior year has been dramatically impacted. Lost for them what has been prom, the sports activities, and other activities that Mike Hennon mentioned, not the least of which are those incredible moments of friendship, kinship, and connection that happen in our hallways, our lunchroom, and our classrooms. Those were all lost opportunities, and tomorrow night we will celebrate this class who for 13 years walked our halls and ate in our lunchrooms and learned from our incredible educators. We'll start at 4:30 with a video presentation with the help of LATV and directed by Principal Caldwell and his team. That'll run for about an hour and a half as we recognize and celebrate all of our graduates. And then beginning at 6 p.m., students will drive into the back parking lot, work their way around to the front of the high school, where they will get out of their car and walk across the graduation stage as if we had no different plan in place. They'll get a monumental picture taken by Lifetouch, who's also agreed to give a free photo of that opportunity, of that moment, to each student and their family. So a debt of gratitude to Lifetouch for that generosity. And board will meet tomorrow night at 5:30 at the district office, and we'll work our way to the front of the high school. As mentioned earlier, summer school starts shortly with the end of the school year. The K-8 program starts on June 22nd and runs through July 24th. And we are bringing students back to the classroom on a hybrid model. I am really excited for that opportunity to get kids back in front of teachers, for us to begin to make up any gaps that might have existed before or extended or stretched through distance learning. The 9-12 distance learning program for 9th graders through 12th grade summer school program actually will be a credit recovery program, and that will be an online program beginning June 9th and extending to July 15th. We will be continuing our meal program for students through the summer. Our sites will include the senior high, Forest View Elementary, Forest Lake Elementary, Lino Lakes Elementary, Wyoming Elementary, and our places where we have our SAC program. And due to state funding and requirements, we have different dates when the program will not be available for a short period and then pick up, and those dates will be promoted on our website for vast communication throughout the district. Like everyone, our questions and our minds drift to late August and September and the start of the school year. I wish I had a crystal ball and I could tell you what that looks like. Nobody does, but we know that school will start in September, as our calendar says it will, and it will be either distance learning, it will be a hybrid, or it will be fully open. Well, I formed a steering committee with subcommittees to begin that work starting next week, and we will start planning out and accounting for all the different aspects that we need to think about as we move forward with the start of the school year. By the way, the Minnesota Department of Education has communicated just in the last couple days that they're going to be providing some guidance beginning next week, and will provide support and guidance through the summer as we move toward the start of the year. We also received word that the federal relief acts, CARES, and the ESSER program, and from the feds, will be providing some much needed relief to schools throughout the country and Minnesota in particular. And through the CARES Act, we will be receiving approximately $130,000. The ESSER program, which will be tied to our Title I counts, will be about $220,000, and then some other grants related to the ESSER program, another $105,000 or $106,000. And with that, that concludes my report. Now, stand for any questions.
Steve, this is Alex. It's not it's a comment, not a question, but I heard today that Dr. Fauci has actually said that he would like to see students back in the schools, which I thought was very encouraging.
Yeah, I can tell you that our administrative team would love to see nothing more. We know, I should add, that as parents might be listening into this conversation, there are families that have kids that are medically fragile or vulnerable, and families will have great concerns about their kids returning to school. We're aware of that. We've surveyed families, staff, and students here the last couple of weeks. That information is abundantly clear. So we'll be thinking about and planning for how do we meet the needs of students who may not be able to return, even if we're fully open or open in a hybrid model. For that matter, we will most likely have staff with similar concerns, and we need to be thinking about that as well.
Dr. Massey, I was just wondering about those available funds that you talked about. How soon will those funds be available for use?
You know, we have not seen, unless Mr. Martini has more information at this time, we haven't seen the exact rollout of those funds, but they're coming soon. And they'll be tied to expenses related to distance learning, especially around our food service program and childcare.
Okay, thank you.
I just have a quick question for the superintendent. Julie kind of asked my question, but can any of those funds be used for technology at all around distance learning?
Yeah, they can. And as I listed the dollar amounts that we're going to be receiving, those dollars will fall far short of the deficit, I guess, that we incurred through food service. You know, the fee-based programs, childcare and food service. So we're not sure if it's going to be supporting technology. We've used general fund dollars for some of that. TEFLA actually was a generous funder of resources for internet connectivity and other technology needs. So we'll assess how best to use those dollars once they're made available.
And then, Steve, is this the GEARS funding as well, or is that another thing coming from the state?
I'm not sure that I know the specificity of that because there's those different categories and different funds. Larry, do you know the answer to that?
Yeah, that total of a little over $400,000 includes gears.
Oh, it is here.
Thank you.
And also,
One more thing, I just want to skip this in here quick. Steve, the superintendent, I want to thank you for your writings. Everybody's home, so I always hear from the parents how they appreciate, so appreciative of those letters that go out and how they're reassuring and they feel like they're getting really accurate, good information from you. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
and I just had a question regarding the summer school numbers, Steve. As far as, is the numbers up? I mean, does it seem like we need that there's more students that need additional help that are coming into summer school? And is that going to generate additional funding? I was just curious about that.
The funding for summer school is generated by the students. We match the enrollment with teachers and staff resources. So it really isn't designed to generate revenue as much as try to create a balanced budget with the resources we bring to the students who register. And we have just over 300 students at the elementary level and 200 or just over 200 at the 9-12 level with credit recovery. Those numbers are lower than years past, largely because of early enrollment and not knowing what the program would look like and concerns about coming to school. And then we also have to match that with the availability of teachers who at this moment are comfortable being back in school. So as we begin to return to school, it's a balance of prepping our staff and accounting for safety with our staff, as well as providing a safe and secure place for our students.
Thank you so much.
Member Luther, do you have a question?
I statement question. Dr. Massey, thank you. Exactly what Gail said. The way you write really gets to the point in a compassionate and genuine way. I know that we've all received numerous letters from concerned students and other citizens. I've replied to a couple of them, but it is difficult to reply to some of the ones who say we have done nothing, because I don't want to send them back a laundry list. Basically exactly what you and Member Rayfield just said. Is it possible to publish a list of the things we have done in place that we are ever dedicated to moving forward on this path, this long, long path of equity, but this is the places we've come from? Just so we can just say, I'm sorry you don't feel we've done enough, but this is what we've done, and I'm open to hearing more. And a couple of those letters did have good remarks in them, things that I'd appreciate us looking into. But it's hard to read people saying we've done nothing and said nothing when you definitely have, and the district definitely has. But
Thank you for the opportunity to weigh in on this. I too have received many, many letters, and quite frankly, the letters are well expressed, well written, and if that is the perspective and the feeling of those writing it, then they must be real. It doesn't mean that their understanding of what has been done or the lack of, in their mind, what might have been done or not done is accurate, and there's a void and a need for deeper communication there. There also is a need to, I think, present a listening mode and ear to the concerns and issues rather than a defensive posture, and I know you're not suggesting this, to what we have done, and therefore suggesting perhaps that we're all okay, and if some students are struggling, then that's a real issue, and we need to fully understand that. So I'm beginning to think through how best to open up that opportunity for more conversation, where we can convey the things we're doing, not from a rationale standpoint or defensive posture standpoint, but we're doing this work because it's the right work. And are we there yet? No. Are we connecting with every student, responding every time that we need to? No. Does every student feel that our school system is working for them? No. Are more today than before? I sure hope so. But if we have students that aren't, we've got work to do. And we can't be blind to that. We need to be listening and open to that. And I'll create those opportunities as the weeks move on.
Right. And actually quite a few seem to be graduates in the past that know the least about what's going on. So as you said, it's an opportunity to let the broader community, I think the parents know because your letters come to them, but the larger community seems unaware of the school district stance and what has been the path so far and the path to come. So that's how we find the holes. People let us know.
I just want to add that I think that the older graduates this is just a good jumping off point, and I like Steve's position on, we need to hear, we need to have discussions, we need to open up and hear what they're saying to us and they want us to hear. I think that older graduates actually are coming forward and just sharing experiences they had in this area. So I think it's important that Steve has the idea of we need to listen, and those meetings will be a great jumping off point to start those discussions. So
Thank you, Member Tyson. All right, Dr. Massey, did you have anything further?
Nope, that concludes my report. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Massey. We will move on to the consent agenda. I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
We have a second. Any discussion?
I would like to just add, again, just a footnote on donations, just to clarify. This month, we had 4 different contributions by either individuals or organizations for a total of $6,608.92. So on behalf of the district, once again, we want to thank those individuals and organizations for those donations.
Thank you, Member Ketto. Any other discussion? Member Corcoran?
Yeah, I would like to recognize from item 8.3. Can I just recognize the new addition to Joy Mouch as Superintendent's Administrative Assistant? So I just want to welcome her to her new role at the district office.
Thank you, Member Corcoran. Member Luthner?
I was ready to call the roll when you're ready.
Okay, I saw your mic was open, so I didn't know if you had something to add. All right, any other comments?
I just want to add, I can't open up my donations on my phone. My daughter took our printer and scanner. But remind me, Alex, what was on there that was really significant?
We had a donation of $5,086.94 by the Forest Lake Softball Boosters to pay for a softball team for payment of 2 assistant coaches. That was the big one. We also had a $1,000 and a $500 donation along with that.
That wasn't what I was thinking. Okay, thank you. Move on.
All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none, Member Clerk, would you please take a roll call?
Member Corcoran?
Aye.
Member Corcoran votes aye. Member Ketto?
Aye.
Member Ketto votes aye. Member Olson?
Aye.
Member Olson votes aye. Member Raphael?
Aye.
Member Raphael votes aye. Member Tyson?
Aye.
Member Tyson votes aye. Member Peterson?
Aye.
Member Peterson votes aye. And Member Luthner votes aye.
All right, motion passes. Moving on to action items. 9.1, adopt a resolution relating to the election of school board members and calling the school district general election. You're on mute, Steve.
We have 2 consecutive items here related to the upcoming school board elections. This one is a resolution calling for the school district general election, and this upcoming November 3rd, 2020, in the general election. We have 4 school board seats that are open, currently held by Member Corcoran, Member Peterson, Member Raphael, and Member Tyson. To meet the legal timelines, the school board needs to pass a resolution calling for the school district general election. Filing dates for the open seats are July 28th through August 11th, 2020, with withdrawals allowed until 5 p.m. August 13th. In order to arrange for the timely printout of ballots, county auditors must be notified of the final candidate names and filings by August 21st, and administration recommends approval of the included resolution to this effect.
Any discussion on 9-1?
I don't think it's been moved yet.
Oh. I guess at this time I'd entertain a motion to pass the resolution.
So
So
moved.
Second?
A motion and a second. Discussion. Hearing none. Member Clerk, would you please take a roll call?
I had a brief comment before the roll call. I was slow on my discussion. I just think that it's been great having everybody on the board. I hope everyone considers rerunning. And if not, there's other people in the community that wish to run. I hope they know that they can come and ask any of us what the board position entails, and it's a great opportunity.
All right. Thank you, Member Luthner. Roll call?
That'll call the roll. Member Ketto?
Aye.
Member Ketto votes aye. Member Olson?
Aye.
Member Olson votes aye. Member Raphael?
Aye.
Member Raphael votes aye. Member Tyson?
Aye.
Member Tyson votes aye. Member Peterson?
Aye.
Member Peterson votes aye. Member Luthner votes aye. Member Corcoran?
Aye.
Member Corcoran votes aye.
All right. Motion passes. 9-2, adopt a resolution establishing dates for filing affidavits of candidacy. Dr. Massey?
Thank you. So, just like the last item, very similar, but this one actually is calling for establishing the dates for filing affidavit of candidacy. Again, there are 4 seats open: Member Corcoran's seat, Member Peterson's seat, Member Raphael's seat, and Member Tyson's seat. The state legislature establishes dates for filing affidavits of candidacy for school board elections, and the dates are July 28th through August 11, 2020. And the included resolution gives district administration direction on the legal requirements to begin preparations for the school board election. Administration recommends approval of this resolution.
All right. I would entertain a motion to approve 9-2.
Move to approve 9-2.
A motion? Second?
Second.
Second.
A motion and a second. Discussion.
Member Chair, I'm just curious about the $2 filing fee. I've been the benefactor of that low price, but I'm curious why it's so low.
Dr. Massey?
I can actually answer too.
I'm going to defer to Member Luthner.
Member Luther?
It's set by the state, so it's actually on the state filing page.
Very good. Thank you.
All right. Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Hearing none. Member Luther, would you take a roll call?
Okay. Member Tyson?
Aye.
Member Tyson votes aye. Member Peterson?
Aye.
Member Peterson votes aye. Member Luthner votes aye. Member Corcoran?
Aye.
Member Corcoran votes aye. Member Ketto?
Aye.
Member Ketto votes aye. Member Olson?
Aye.
Member Olson votes aye. Member Raphael?
Aye.
Member Raphael votes aye.
All right. Motion passes. Moving to 9-3, approve proposed 2021 school board meeting dates.
Yeah, we're asking your approval of the school board meeting dates for the upcoming school year, beginning with the July 16th meeting and continuing through June 24th, 2021. As our current schedule exists, these meetings would be the first and third meeting or Thursday of the month, with the full board meeting, if you will, starting at 7 p.m. And the third meeting of the month, there would be committee meetings starting at 6 p.m., another set of committee meetings at 7 with a board meeting at 8. The only change to the first and third Thursday would be the October 3rd meeting. Due to MEA, that meeting would be moved to October 22nd. With that, administration recommends approval.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the school board meeting dates. Discussion. Do we have any other discussion? Member Tyson?
I just wanted to ask the superintendent, so typically we pushed out the January meeting, due to that, that first organizational meeting of the new year. So I think the date that's on there allows for that. Would you agree?
I know we had this conversation, and I would have to quickly consult my calendar because it's got to be after the first Monday of the month in January.
It is after the first Monday then. First
Yeah.
Monday is the 4th.
Thank you for checking. So yeah, we did check that at the time, and we're in compliance.
Super, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Massey. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Member Clerk, would you please take a roll call?
Member Peterson?
Aye.
Member Peterson votes aye. Member Luther votes aye. Member Corcoran?
Aye.
Member Corcoran votes aye. Member Ketto?
Aye.
Member Ketto votes aye. Member Olson?
Aye.
Member Olson votes aye. Member Rayfield?
Aye.
Member Rayfield votes aye. Member Tyson?
Aye.
Member Tyson votes aye.
All right, motion passes. Moving on to the approval of the 21-22 and 22-23 FLAS academic calendars.
Yeah, tonight we're going to ask your approval for the 2021 and 22, it's 21-22 and the 22-23 academic calendars. First, I'd like to thank Director Georgie for her leadership in putting these calendars together. She is really a master at juggling all the variables that are at play here. She brings together a team of elementary and secondary teachers along with administration to consider professional development days, testing days. There are state requirements to when the school year can start, needing to be after Labor Day. There are a set number of required school days to have in a school year. All of those things are accounted for. In the 21-22 school year, there will be 169 days for kindergartners, 170 for grades 1 through 6, 171 for 7 through 9, 170 for 9 through 12th graders. Spring break will be the week of March 7th. That's actually a couple of weeks earlier than previous years, which I think will be favorable to families. First day of the school year will be September 7th. And then the 22-23 calendar, in a very similar fashion, will start on the Tuesday after Labor Day, September 6th. Spring break will be the week of March 6th. And a similar number of academic days for kindergartners 1 through 6, grades 7 through 9, and high schoolers 10 through 12 at 170. What the board approved a couple of years ago, delaying the start of school for 8th graders and 10th graders, or 10 through 12, giving the first day to 9th graders new to the high school and 7th graders new to the middle school. That has been a really powerful opportunity to get those new learners in those schools acclimated and adjusted to the routines and the schedules and the logistics. So those days are incorporated in this calendar as well. With that, administration recommends approval.
Do we have a motion on 9-4?
Move to approve 9-4.
We have a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none. Member Clerk, would you please take a roll call?
Member Luther votes aye. Member Corcoran?
Aye.
Member Corcoran votes aye. Member Ketto?
Aye.
Member Ketto votes aye. Member Olson?
Aye.
Member Olson votes aye. Member Rayfield?
Aye.
Member Rayfield votes aye. Member Tyson?
Aye.
Member Tyson votes aye. Member Peterson?
Aye.
Member Peterson votes aye.
All right. Motion passes. Moving to 9.5, the resolution approving the long-term facilities maintenance revenue. Director Martini.
Good evening again. Thank you. This resolution is for Intermediate District 916. The attachments show their FY22, or their 21-22 school year long-term facilities maintenance amount is $173,600. That would be spread across all of their member districts on a blended tax and per student usage basis. So the impact to our tax rolls is going to be nominal, but they do ask that you approve the resolution by a roll call vote, and I can answer any questions on their plan. It's attached as the third page.
All right. Do we have a motion for 9.5?
Move to approve 9.5.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion or questions for Director Martini? Any discussion? Hearing none. Member Clerk, would you please say roll call?
Okay. Member Corcoran.
Aye.
Member Corcoran votes aye. Member Ketto.
Aye.
Member Ketto votes aye. Member Olson.
Aye.
Member Olson votes aye. Member Rayfield.
Aye.
Member Rayfield votes aye. Member Tyson.
Aye.
Member Tyson votes aye. Member Peterson.
Aye.
Member Peterson votes aye. And Member Luthner votes aye.
All right, motion passes. 9.6, the resolution to approve long-term facilities maintenance revenue for the Forest Lake Area Schools, 831. Director Martini.
Thank you. So this agenda item is parallel to the previous, but for Forest Lake area schools, the FY22 amount is $3,927,460, considerably larger than what we saw with 916. This plan was developed with the assistance of our friends from Ehlers and Associates. Recall that you modified it this past February, and every summer we have to go through this process, so we'd ask you to approve this resolution as well. Thank you.
All right, with that, I would entertain a motion for 9.6.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion or questions for Director Martini? Any discussion?
I have a question, actually.
Member Luthner.
Discussion. I noticed remodeling for pre-K instruction is approved by the commissioner, and then no new appropriations for the category beyond 2020. I don't actually know anything about this program. Could you give me the Cliff Notes?
So we could expand facilities if we had a need to and a desire, and we've made application each year through Mr. McKinnon and Bethany Hardy. We've not been granted those funds, so it's not something that is in the near term for Forest Lake area schools.
All right, any other discussion?
So, Larry, can I ask one quick question? Is the template similar for everyone then?
We are required to use the MDE template, yes.
Okay.
All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, Member Clerk, would you please take a roll call?
Member Ketto.
Aye.
Member Ketto votes aye. Member Olson.
Aye.
Member Olson votes aye. Member Rayfield.
Aye.
Member Rayfield votes aye. Member Tyson.
Aye.
Member Tyson votes aye. Member Peterson.
Aye.
Member Peterson votes aye. Member Luthner votes aye. And Member Corcoran.
Aye.
Member Corcoran votes aye.
All right, motion passes. Moving to 9.7, approval of the fiscal year 21 budget. Director Martini.
Thank you. Say a month ago, we reviewed a PowerPoint during our school board meeting. The general fund is balanced, the food service fund is balanced, the community education fund is balanced. We're also approving dollars here for construction, debt service, and our other post-employment benefits debt service account. So we would ask your approval this evening, since we didn't receive any further comments from the Finance Committee or board members since our last time reviewing this last month.
Thank you, Director Martini. Do we have a motion to approve the fiscal year 21 budget?
Move to approve the budget?
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. Discussion or questions for Director Martini? Any further discussion?
I just wanted to comment on what an amazing job Director Martini does on the budget. It is a very, estimating way far in advance is never easy, but it's amazing how close we get and with little changes throughout the year with adjustment. So with the uncertainty of this world, it's nice to see that we can have some really good numbers to work with and know kind of a forecast for our future. So I want to thank him for all his work and his staff's work.
It's the staff, so thank you so much.
Well, that too, yes.
Thank you, Member Corcoran. Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Hearing none, Member Clerk, would you please say roll call?
Member Olson?
Aye.
Member Olson votes aye. Member Rayfield?
Aye.
Member Rayfield votes aye. Member Tyson?
Aye.
Member Tyson votes aye. Member Peterson?
Aye.
Member Peterson votes aye. Member Luthner votes aye. Member Corcoran?
Aye.
Member Corcoran votes aye. Member Ketto?
Aye.
Member Ketto votes aye.
All right, motion passes. 9-8, approval of the substitute teachers policy. Dr. Massey, you're on mute.
Thank you. The purpose of this policy is to set the casual and long-term substitute teacher rates of pay. And the last time we changed the rates were, I think, 2017. And we are really in need of adjusting this given the competition for substitutes and the low availability of substitutes and where we compare to neighboring districts. So this recommendation from the policy committee is to adjust the full day rate from $120 per day to $130, and the half day rate from $60 to $65. As part of the policy, a substitute who works 50 or more days in the previous fiscal year shall be paid the rate of, the old language was $125, we would adjust that rate to $135. And the half day rate would adjust as well. So with that, administration would recommend approval.
All right, do we have a motion to approve 9-8?
So moved.
And a second. Discussion.
I think it's important to raise that. I believe we just won't attract good quality subs if we stay in that non-competitive range. So I'm really happy to see this bump up.
I completely agree with Gail. I even think it should go up a little higher, but I guess this is a starting point, so I'm for the.
Any further discussion?
I was just going to ask, Member Kettle, I know you are a substitute teacher sometimes. Do you work for our district? Would you have to recuse yourself?
That's what I'm wondering. I didn't get an answer for that, but I probably should.
Okay.
All right. Any further discussion on 9-8? Hearing none, Member Clerk, would you please take a roll call?
Sure. Member Rayfield?
Aye.
Member Rayfield votes aye. Member Tyson?
Aye.
Member Tyson votes aye. Member Peterson?
Aye.
Member Peterson votes aye. Member Luthner votes aye. Member Corcoran?
Aye.
Member Corcoran votes aye. Member Ketto?
I recuse myself.
Member
vote.
Ketto abstains. Member Olson?
Aye.
Member Olson votes aye.
Yeah,
All right.
and I'm sorry, Member Kettle, I used the wrong word. I should have said abstain, not recuse.
That's
Either way.
okay. I abstain.
Abstain.
Footnote, I abstain.
It's nice to have something new to write down.
Thank you. Motion passes. We will move on to 9-9, approval of the elementary attendance boundaries policy 502. Dr. Massey.
elementary attendance boundaries are established by the school board, and the policy committees reviewed this policy and are recommending a couple of language changes to help bring some clarity to this policy, with added language stating that attendance boundaries will be established by considering school building capacities, geographical boundaries, distance from students' home, and other related factors. Added to the language would be requests for in-district transfers will be considered based upon building and grade level capacity at the prospective elementary school, as well as available programming to serve the students' needs. And then the last language addition to this policy would be students, families' request for building boundary changes should submit such requests to the superintendent. With those modification languages to the policy, administration recommends approval.
All right, do we have a motion to approve 9-9?
Move to approve 9-9.
Have a motion, do we have a second?
Yep,
A motion and a second, discussion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Member Clerk, would you please take a roll call?
Member Tyson.
Aye.
Member Tyson votes aye. Member Peterson.
Aye.
Member Peterson votes aye. Member Luthner votes aye. Member Corcoran.
Aye.
Member Corcoran votes aye. Member Ketto.
Aye.
Member Ketto votes aye. Member Olson.
Aye.
Member Olson votes aye. Member Rayfield.
Aye.
Member Rayfield votes aye.
All right, motion passes. 9-10, approve the short-term classified substitutes policy 434. Dr. Massey.
Thank you. And similar to the substitute teacher policy that was just approved, this one would address the substitute rates for classified staff. And the recommendations are to adjust the hourly rate by $1 across the board. With that, administration would recommend approval.
All right, do we have a motion for 9-10?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, discussion.
I agree with Member Olson that this pay is low as well, and I don't think we'll attract good substitutes to this pool and that wage. So I'd like to see that bump up, but this is a starting point, and hopefully when this gets reviewed again, we can consider that.
Thank you, Member Tyson. Any other discussion?
I have a question, actually. With the 50 or more days in the previous fiscal year, and I should have asked this in the last one also, is there any credit given? I don't know the right answer, but for the fact that there was nothing the end of this year that could be a substitute teacher? I know a friend of mine that would be affected by this policy said that the majority of the sub dates tend to be towards the end of the year where teachers are using up time and doing some continuing ed and planning for the next year.
But
would that be considered?
Yeah, what I would offer is that your vote wouldn't affect that decision. So I think that would be an administrative rollout of how this policy is implemented. But we'll certainly take that under consideration.
Okay.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, Member Clerk, would you please take a roll call?
Member Peterson.
Aye.
Member Peterson votes aye. Member Luthner votes aye. Member Corcoran.
Aye.
Member Corcoran votes aye. Member Ketto.
Aye.
Member Ketto votes aye. Member Olson.
Aye.
Member Olson votes aye. Member Rayfield.
Aye.
Member Rayfield votes aye. Member Tyson.
Aye.
Member Tyson votes aye.
All right, 9-10 passes. 9-11, approval of the discipline policy 515. Dr. Massey.
Yeah, there are a couple of recommended changes from the policy committee. I'll jump over the first one and I'll come back to it. There's recommended changes in the bus policy that's captured in the discipline policy. Those changes were approved by the board several months ago, and this change in this part of the policy captures those changes. And then the other changes relate to student attire. which would be item 2, the added language, which really is designed to bring clarity to the various items related to clothing that would be prohibited by the school district. And the policy would state that the following are prohibited on school property or at school-sponsored events: clothing that displays or promotes tobacco, alcohol, drug, or paraphernalia, or offensive messages, pictures, or symbols, violent language or images, sexually explicit or pornographic language and or images. So that would be added language to the policy.
All right, thank you, Dr. Massey. At this time, I would entertain a member.
Under student attire, section 1, I propose that we strike the second sentence and leave it at wearing or displaying Confederate flags, swastika, and KKK signs or symbols, period. I would like to remove some school events and our activities may permit the wearing of appropriate headwear when previously approved by the building principal. We have gone round and round and round about headwear. We came to a conclusion last year. I don't think we need to revisit it again in the policy, so I would like to strike that sentence from this policy and then approve it.
So we have a motion to approve the policy while striking the second sentence, paragraph C, item number 1. Do I have a second?
A second on to amend the motion.
Thank you, Member Rayfield. Discussion.
Member, Chair, if I can just add clarity, I think the reason for the strike is that it's really residual language to an amendment made in a previous policy that eliminates headwear at all as a discussion. Headwear for any student is permitted in school.
Correct.
All right, any further discussion? Any further discussion? Hearing none, Member Clerk, would you please take a roll call?
Member Luthner votes aye. Member Corcoran?
Aye.
Member Corcoran votes aye. Member Ketto?
Aye.
Member Ketto votes aye. Member Olson?
Aye.
Member Olson votes aye. Member Rayfield?
Aye.
Member Rayfield votes aye. Member Tyson?
Aye.
Member Tyson votes aye. Member Peterson?
Aye.
Member Peterson votes aye.
Motion passes. Agenda item 10.1, the first reading of the wellness policy. Dr. Massey.
All school districts that participate in the National School Lunch and Breakfast programs are required by the Health Hunger-Free Kids Act of 2010, must have a wellness policy that includes standards and nutrition guidelines for foods and beverages made available to students on campus during the school day, as well as specific goals for nutrition promotion and education, physical activity, and other school-based activities that promote student wellness. The policy committee has reviewed this policy and are not making any recommended changes at this time.
All right, thank you, Dr. Massey. Moving on to 10.2, first reading, community use of, did anybody have any questions or comments on that, on 10.1? Hearing none. Member Tyson, go ahead.
I just wanted to add that the wellness policy was given a lot of work and really worked over very well with a large group. So I think that it's standing as it is. That's why it doesn't need anything added or taken away.
Thank you, Member Tyson. Any other questions? All right, moving on to 10.2, first reading the community use of school district facilities and equipment policy. Dr. Massey.
Purpose of this policy is to provide guidelines for community use of school district facilities and equipment. The district is committed to make available the use of school facilities to all citizens of the district. School district facilities, rules, and regulations under this policy shall apply to all property owned and managed by the school district and shall be in effect at all times when the school property is not in use for regular educational programs. Policy committee has reviewed this policy. Director McKinnon oversees facility use, and there really is just a simple modification to the policy. which reflects current practice, actually. Currently, the policy would suggest that any group that is scheduling any of our buildings could be arranged by any member of that group. This policy calls for a single scheduler for the group. Think about basketball. There are dozens of teams that are being scheduled throughout the season, and this policy would call for one point person to be in communication with the district for arranging the scheduling of those facilities. So that's reflected in item 6, section D, item 7, section D as well.
All right, any discussion on 10.2?
I had that in my notes from policy committee meeting that Director McKinnon came and that was what he explained. And I think overall the policy committee thought this was a really good addition.
Thank you, Member Tyson. Director McKinnon, did you have anything to add? Perfect, thank you. All right, with that, we will move to review the upcoming calendar dates, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
And a second. All those in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you, everyone. Meeting's adjourned.